welcome to another episode of the Tit for Tat podcast. I'm your highly blessed and favorite and a little bit messy host, Lauren the Dom, aka the mother and Dom Dada, or aka Lauren Monroe, aka again, we still trying to figure that shit out. But nonetheless, happy Friday, everyone. We have made it through another week, child. I am going to say, truly, I know I come here every week like, damn, the week was quiet a little bit, the week was quiet. This week was truly quiet, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the GOAT dropped. I truly think that's what it is. You know, the GOAT is dropping, and people aren't. They're not ready for it. They aren't ready for it. So, nonetheless, we have an exciting episode ahead. Child, I I've been trying to keep up with everything. And everything in regards to like TV, I'm not gonna lie, I did tell myself like when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, bitch, I wanna watch it, but at the same time I hate watching the shows when everybody else is watching. But sometimes I feel like there's certain shows that you need to watch with everybody so y'all can like really understand the dynamics that's going on or whatever. Nonetheless, child, it's just been a hectic week, but we have made it through. I am just I am just trying to like maintain my health. Okay? Like the world is literally getting out of control and I just can't take it anymore. But nonetheless, we didn't come here for all of that. So let's get into the shit that y'all actually came here for, which is not the mess, because I know that y'all love being some messy ass bitches. All right. So speaking of Real Housewives of Atlanta, this is in regards to former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Candy Burrs. Everybody knows that she's currently going through a divorce right now, and she actually just did an interview where she kind of spoke on how she is during this time. Um, I'm not gonna lie, she did say that she is not healed, and I would expect her not to be. She's literally, it's only been like a year. It has not been that long, okay? So you can't really sit here and be like, oh yeah, she should be healed by now. No, she shouldn't. All right. And speaking of Candy Burrs, her ex husband, whole time he's sitting here while she like trying to heal, still move on, do what she need to do. Bitch, he over here being a messy ass bitch, coming up with another TV show. Basically, it's about like the ex husbands, really, because ain't none of them niggas married. So the ex husbands of the Real Housewives of Atlanta stars are literally trying to come out with another show. You heard me. You heard me. So basically, during a recent interview, Peter Thomas, who is basically an ex-husband of Cynthia Bailey from Real Housewives of Atlanta, everybody know Miss Patricia. He is working with Todd Tucker. He says that he has officially signed on for a brand new reality series centered around ex-husbands connected to the Atlanta franchise, and a rumor cast already has social media talking. According to Peter, names allegedly being discussed include Apollo, who is Phaedra Parks' ex-husband, Bob Whitfield, who is Sheree's ex-husband, Ralph Pittman, who is Drew Sidora's ex-husband, Mike Hill, and Mark Daly. I don't see Mark or Mike. Mike Hill was married to Cynthia Bailey, and Mark Daly was actually married to Kenya Moore. I personally do not see them two doing it, but them other messy ass bitches, I would love to see Ty, Peter, and Apollo. I truly wish, even though he's not an ex-husband technically, I really wish Greg was alive. Nene Leaks' husband. I really wish he was alive, because I feel like adding him to the cast just would have been a little fun. But nonetheless, if it is true, I'm personally going to tune in. I know how y'all feel about that. I know a lot of y'all have taken Candy's side, this and the third. And this is the thing about that too, right? I want to get into that real quick, because I feel as though I love Candy down, right? And I'm never sitting here taking a man's side, because at the end of the day, bitch, if you really wanted to cheat that bad, you should have left my girl alone. Point blank, period, ho. And then I hate the fact that y'all are blaming her, talking about, well, this way you can't have threesomes and this and the third. No, that's not the problem. The problem is because what happens when you say shit like that, it really takes away from the fact that we need to hold men accountable. Yes, we may be able to bring other women into the bedroom, but that does not give you the right to literally still go out and do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's what niggas be failing to realize. So Todd going out his way to still cheat on Candy, doing the things that they do within their bedroom, does not take away from the fact that Candy has still showed up and did everything she was supposed to do as a wife. Ty was just being a greedy ass, messy ass bottom, and that's just what it is. That's what most niggas do. But what I won't sit here and do is make it seem like, oh, Ty was just really like he was really in it for the mud. Like I can't sit here and say that because if you watch the show, I and this is personal opinion, bitch, but from watching the show, literally when they came on when he came on season 2, we literally watched him try. And I think that's where motherfuckers fuck up at. Like at the end of the day, I truly think that he came into the relationship like, okay, I really do love this girl, but Mama Joyce being who Mama Joyce is, and Candy has said it multiple times that Mama Joyce literally hates everyone that she dates, so she goes out her way to basically make sure that the relationship don't work out. So that whole it's a scheme that Todd set up. Yes, that shit is funny, but at the same time, we can't sit here and act like her family was not a contributing factor to the reason why they are getting a divorce. I know you again. I know some of y'all are going to try to jump me, whatever the case is, but I'm not going to lie. If I had to deal with Mama Joyce, and also had to deal with the fact that Candy never held Mama Joyce accountable for the shit that she used to do, and this shit went on. If you watched Candy's last season on Real Housewives of Atlanta, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. I'm sorry, I love going on the tangent, but if you watch the last season if you watch Candy's last season when she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you can tell that again she was still going out her Mama Joyce was still going out her way to be rude to this man over the years, even when Ty was literally trying to I think where Todd messed up is he was really trying to overcompensate. That's why he was opening all them businesses. That's why he was literally trying to do something successful so he can really be accepted by this girl's mother. That's all it was. And eventually it got to a point where the business started failing, of course, and everything just started crashing down. And I'm not saying that's not an excuse to cheat. I'm just saying that we cannot sit here and act like Todd didn't go through anything because at the end of the day, he had to literally deal with Mama Joyce. And then you still have to deal with Mama Joyce because of the grandkids. I personally, and I know that sounds fucked up, but I personally think that I want them to work it out. That's just me. I'm hoping that eventually, bitch, and I think Candy's birthday is actually coming up, or it passed, or whatever the case is. But I really hope they do work it out because I love Candy and Todd down. But nonetheless, if you felt like you needed to literally go find love or go just find some type of feeling somewhere else, then 9 times out of 10, you should have a conversation with your wife because I'm pretty sure Candy probably would have been a little understanding. That's just that. But I don't know what goes on. I am never giving a man an okay to cheat. I'm just saying that we can't sit here and pretend like Mama Joyce wasn't a fucking problem in their fucking marriage. That's just that. Speaking of Real Housewives of Atlanta, currently Portia versus K Michelle Child. I don't know what's really going on, and that's why I said like, okay, maybe I really do need to just watch the season. You know, they only on like episode 5 or 6, so I could catch up. It's nothing, but we currently know that there is beef going on between Portia and K Michelle. Child, I think that K Michelle is basically accusing certain cast members of plotting against her behind the scenes. According to K, there was allegedly a coordinated effort to expose old rumors and stir up messy narratives involving her personal life and Drew Sidor's friend Black Teddy. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about Black already. Like, supposedly Black is a friend, but then supposedly it was rumors that they was fucking around, and that was the real reason why Ralph was mad at Drew Sidora. I don't know, child. It's just too much. So recently there was an interview that happened where K Michelle felt like Portia and the girls were talking about how years ago, child, somebody said that K Michelle Punani smell like oysters. Okay, so as Portia is picking through the oysters, she like, oh yeah, this vagina clean. You know, being shady. So this is the thing that I have with that, right? A lot of people can sit here and be like, oh, that's a stretch, this, and that, and the third. It's really not a stretch when you know these things. Okay, it has been said that K Michelle and Portia have definitely had conversations, like, prior to coming on the show, because of course, like, she's trying to get to know this girl, and I personally think what is going on is kind of rem- I think what's going on with K Michelle is the fact that this group is kind of starting to remind her of the situation with Rashida and, Love and Hip Hop. Mind you, she was already receiving backlash about her being on the show. So I think her first season, her going in defensive, and then of course I've had this conversation with this girl. Now she trying to turn around and be funny, this, that, and the third. It's very much given that K Michelle is still holding on to some internal insecurities, and she needs to work through that. In order to survive in this group, babes, I need the old K Michelle back. The one who was quick on her feet, the one who was like, bitch, you not about to try to come in and be on any of that. I also think that she is battling some shit internally simply because her husband is an ugly, and that man is fucking. I can't believe that K Michelle is talking about I'm head over heels for this man. I love this man. Child, that man is no. I'm sorry. So there was basically that episode that happened, or whatever the case is, and K Michelle was crying like, I think y'all trying to embarrass me, this and that and the third, right? So then K Michelle basically comes on the internet after the episode is posted. She says, don't sit in my face and play like you don't know what I'm talking about. You want a reaction, you can have it. Say it to my face or be quiet, coward. Portia wasted no time clapping back, saying, who is a coward? I would define a coward as a person tweeting from the same house 2 doors down from me. Next time, let's do our drive and bring it to the front door real time. That's how it's done in Real Housewives of Atlanta. K. Michelle took things to another level entirely by accusing Portia of allegedly dealing with one of her exes behind her back. Who? R. Kelly? Bitch, don't nobody give a fuck about that man. Last week's episode, there was basically a rumor. Well, not a rumor. Supposedly, child Portia Williams did fucked R. Kelly back in the day, and y'all know K Michelle. She was super in love with that man. I don't know, child. It's just so fucking messy. Um, it says at Portia, no different than you being two doors down from me, fucking on my ex, sitting in my face like you a girl's girl while telling him my business. Damn bimbo. Portia appeared unbothered and reposted with Twitter finger shaking the table. K Michelle has been seen doing interviews basically saying fuck Portia, this, that, and the third. Child, this is ghetto, but I'm here for it. Again, I think that K Michelle has some internal insecurities that she's basically battling and doesn't know how to come forward with. I think that's why it's I think that's why she's having such a hard time with basically trying to transition to Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I also think that she's scared to basically be herself because she already knows how people feel about her. Like when people had found out that K Michelle was possibly going to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta, they drug her from sun up to sundown, bitch. And I can see Portia kind of doing some messy ass shit simply because she knows how production works. She basically knows how the show runs. So that moment of her like talking about the oysters, basically saying like, oh, this vagina clean, that was her throwing a little bit of shade. And then once K Michelle caught that, instead of being K Michelle, like, snapping back and, throwing shade back, K Michelle just acting like a little bitch. No, we didn't, no. At this point, I think what K Michelle needs to understand is that we need a little bit of balance. We need that like mature you, whatever, but we still want to see you from Love and Hip Hop. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. Last but not least, a former Real Housewives of Atlanta star, Lisa Wu, is currently being accused of scamming. According to DeKalb County police report, a woman named Nora Mitchum, anyway, child, a woman named Norma. Oh, Norma. Sorry. She was basically She basically accused Lisa and her boyfriend Donald Jacob of being involved in an alleged theft by deception scheme tied to a house purchase back in November 2025. The complaint reportedly came through Norma's nephew, who claimed Lisa initially helped Nora secure the home through an LLC because she allegedly couldn't qualify on her own. The nephew says the understanding was that the property would later be transferred back into Norma's name after a lien issue was resolved. However, the nephew alleged Donald never intended to return the property. Lisa is strongly denying all accusations. For more than 30 years, I've built my career and reputation with integrity, professionalism, and hard work, Lisa said. I have absolutely no involvement in fraudulent activity of any kind. According to Lisa, the situation has been completely misrepresented. She says Norma was a close friend who couldn't qualify for the home loan herself, so Lisa stepped in to secure the property temporarily. Lisa claims Norma promised she would finance the home after closing, but instead allegedly stopped making payments and ghosted her after Lisa refused to place the property in Norma's son's name. Text messages reportedly obtained show Lisa asking Norma to send payments for the home and utility bills, including concerns about the water potentially being shut off. Norma, however, disputes Lisa's version of events and claims Lisa later attempted to sell the home back to her at an inflated price. At this time, no criminal charges against Lisa Wu have been announced publicly, but the situation is already sparking heavy discussion online. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really, I don't know. So it sounds to me like okay, Lisa. Okay, what it sounds to me is Lisa basically was like, "Hey, I see that you can't get this house in your name, but I help you, bitch. But also, what I'm gonna do is turn around and try. It sounds like a scheme that Todd set up. It do. Um, But also, I wouldn't be surprised if she is scamming a little bit. I think we heard about this before, maybe. No, I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of the lady from Married to Medicine. My bad. They damn near act the same. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's I don't know. That's kind of confusing. It's like okay, you took a loan out in your name to get the house for somebody else, but then now Lisa Wu is trying to say like she not even paying the bills on the house. So it's like, bitch, how I'm gonna sell you the house and you can't even pay the bills on this motherfucker? I don't know. That shit is a little confusing, but I hope y'all work that out, and I hope she don't go to jail or nothing. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, moving on to music. So Don Tolliver has dropped a new video for his song E85, and of course it featured his girlfriend or wife, fiance. I don't know the relationship, but I feel as though they better be together forever because I love them down. His girlfriend is Callie Uchis, I believe that's how you say her name. Not really sure. She is an R&B singer who I love her now. Like some of her music is actually pretty fire. Don Tolliver is currently on tour, so make sure that y'all go check him out. I personally want to go to the Don Tolliver concert. I think it would be super fun. So who knows? We might come back one day and have a little review on it. But next, so y'all know that the Michael Jackson movie has been going crazy or whatever the case is, and so there has been a lot of topics surrounding not only like the abuse with the Jacksons and this, that, and the third, but also like musically, why weren't they all successful as Michael Jackson? And what's crazy is somebody actually asked the question on the internet and somebody in the family responded. It says, what was the reason why the other members of the Jackson 5 were not successful as Michael Jackson after he went solo? Taj Jackson, who is the son of Tito Jackson, he responds and says, I'll answer this since this is a sensitive subject to me. Imagine since you were a teenager being told by everyone that you were worthless without your younger brother and you should thank him for everything you have. That's exactly what my dad had to deal with his whole life. He told me that personally on multiple occasions. What do you think that does to your self-esteem and life? I don't even know why that was a question because this is the thing. Everybody knows that it is very clear that the world was only focused on Michael. He was the dancingest Jackson. Um, I'm sorry. Um, so this is the thing, right? I don't even know why this is a question. I mean, I do know. I'm not gonna act like that. I just personally don't think it needs to be a question because we've seen the abuse basically a contributing factor as to why they personally just didn't take I don't think they took the time and energy to really go and be successful as Michael Jackson simply because they knew and they didn't know, but I feel like because of all the abuse and all the hate, I think that in the back of their mind they really had it in themselves thinking like we're not going to be as big as him. And also, it's one of those things where sometimes you have to be treated like Michelle and Kelly. I hate to say it like that, but it is the truth. And a lot of times that's what happens with groups. When a group basically goes solo, 9 times out of 10, the person that people like the most, which is going to be like the lead, like Bobby Brown. Of course, motherfuckers was checking for Bill Biv DeVoe, but I think when Bobby went solo, motherfuckers was really just like, we don't give a fuck about nobody else. Like y'all would never be as big as Bobby. Y'all will never be as big as Beyonce. And I think that was the same. But also, I just really think it had to be in you. Like Janet took her time to really like try to make a name for her own simply because I think she was one of those like, bitch, I'm not about to be sitting here, in the background while this nigga getting all the praise. Fuck no, I can do the same shit he can. Just watch. And that's exactly what she did. But I just feel like for the rest of them, it was just kind of like I don't really think they had main character energy enough to really say, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna, like really put my mind to it and really put myself out there. I really think it was just one of those they wanted their name to carry. I'm not trying to like be shady or anything like that, but sometimes we do let our names or who we are carry ourselves instead of letting the talent really speak. But also the abuse and all of that stuff definitely plays a factor, not even just abuse from within the home but abuse from the fans too, because I'm pretty sure motherfuckers was like, ain't nobody here to see you, Otis. That's what it was given. Next, Meek Mill says that Dreams and Nightmares is one of the best rap songs to ever come out. He says, from my years on this earth, I never seen nothing with the same impact. Thank God for that lifetime energy shifter. This is one of those things I can say that Dreams and Nightmares is definitely on the list of one of those songs like it's almost like Finito. I feel like there are certain songs, especially of our generation, that is kind of like a game changer, and I can never take that away from Meek Mill because motherfuckers are still playing that to this day. Motherfuckers know when that fucking beat drop, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody need to clear the room and shit like that. But this is one of those moments where it's like, you know what, Meek Mill, I might have to agree with you. I'm not even mad at it. Now you know what I don't agree with is Max B saying that he would be next to some of the greats in the top 100 list. Max B, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. The only song that we know from you now is "Fucking a Butt." He said, "Just get the Vaseline, let me fuck your butt," and I'm so serious. But like, come on now. But nah, I know that Max B is like is one of the ones. I guess I don't know personally. I'm just keeping it real. The only time I really heard about Max B is really never. I know that sounds fucked up, but basically, Max B did an interview with Gillian Rilo, I believe, and he says that out of all the greatest artists that came out, if they did a top 100 list, they asked him where would he be at, and he said that he would be after like Biggie Smalls, Jay-Z, and Nas. Wallow, of course, being a messy ass bitch, he comes in naming people like DMX, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and others. Max showed them love, but said Rakim can't sing and fuck with the hoes like me. He added that Kane wasn't on his level, and that when he was in prison serving an 18-year sentence, Kane's music wasn't available to which French Montana coast. Of course, French Montana gonna dick ride his fucking friend. I think that's what you're supposed to do in a bit. Like, yeah, bitch, you will be up there. But I also think that's just one of those subjective type of bitch. It's almost like the baby. The baby was like, yeah, bitch, I need to be in the big three. I'm one of the greatest rappers of all time. This is the baby in a few years. Okay, still talking about, yeah, I'll be up there with the greats. The great who? The Great Dane? I don't know who we talking about here because hey, by all means, make a paper boo boo. Now getting into the shit that y'all probably really came here for. Y'all know that Chris Brown dropped last week, of course, and da 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 da. There's some mixed reviews. Really, I'm not gonna lie. There are some mixed reviews, but it's mainly good reviews. All right, but I will say, Pitchfork, this was the most absolute rage baiting ass shit in the world. Like, I I can't believe it. But also I can believe it because I think what happens is people like this who behind these fake music commentary pages or whatever the case, bitch, they don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about. They really don't. This is the thing. I am not a super Chris Brown fan. Right? I'm gonna start there. And I know some people will be like, well, if you're not a fan, why are you listening? Because it's Chris Brown. Okay, like everybody know Chris Brown. It's Chris Brown. This is not to say that Chris Brown doesn't have hits. I say it all the time. Chris Brown can make a million hits. I just personally think that Chris Brown has not dropped a cohesive album in years. Okay, the Heartbreak on a Full Moon and like the Indigo, whatever, that was cool. But I probably think like it was cool, you know. But this is the thing, right? So Pitchfork basically dropped a review and said it was a 1.3 out of 5. All right. He basically says this was like Chris Brown's worst album ever. He was chasing hits, this, and that, and the third. I wouldn't say that. I want to say that I feel like one of those things about Chris Brown, he don't have to chase a hit. Like he can create hits. I would never say that, and I will never say that this album is a 1.3. Like that is truly rage bait. This album for a non super fan, I will give the album a 3 out of 5 if I had to. Right, and this is the thing. I say it's a 3 out of 5 simply because again, it just doesn't sound cohesive to me. And that might just be because like I'm not a super fan, but it's still I know what good music is. There are a few songs on the album. Of course, like you have the Honey Pack song, which blew my fucking that blew my fucking mind when I heard this song. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good song. But it's like the Henny and the Honey Pack is crazy. Then he talking about you gotta wait 15 minutes and then we're gonna get it on the pop and chat. Don't say that out loud. Do not fucking say that shit out loud, bitch. But yeah, and it's funny because the person who is behind like the Pitchfork page or whatever, he has said that the Sexy Red, the Hood Hottest Princess, he gave that shit like a 5 out of 5. And I'm thinking like 5 is the best or whatever it has to be. I don't fucking know, but it's still like uh, what? Like I know that y'all hate Chris Brown, right? And Chris Brown has even made a video coming out and saying like, look, I know that y'all hate me, this, and that, and the third. He says like this album is literally for my true Breezy fans, you know, and stuff like that. He said he even said some shit like, if you don't want to listen to me, y'all can go listen to like Zara Larson or something like that. And I've been hearing that name a lot lately. Supposedly they was beefing the whole time because I think that she said something like, I don't listen to abusers or whatever. And I guess that's when Chris Brown ended up coming out with that video, you know, saying like, "Hey, my music is for my fans, not for you new people or whatever." And this is the thing, right? Sometimes I'm not saying that you can't cater to your fans, but I think sometimes your fans will keep you in a box that doesn't allow you to grow. And I think that's what happens with Chris Brown. And I think he overcompensates for that. That's why he puts out so much music. It's almost like NBA Youngboy. And I get that somebody is dropping music and they're literally giving you music to last you until the next time that they drop. Essentially, that's what it kind of gives, right? And then it allows you to, constantly listen to the album, and then you might discover new gems that you didn't before. I totally get that, but I think what needs to be talked about is the fact that quality over quantity matters. I really think it does, because even with people like a Frank Ocean hasn't dropped music in years, but we are still able to go back and listen to his shit and listen to his shit, and it still fulfills you. It's almost, it gives you that sense of, I know my boy is coming back. I know we might have some, and it gives you that sense of hope a little bit. But nonetheless, I personally think that the album is cool. Not my cup of tea. I'm doesn't have any replay value to me. I actually didn't even listen to the whole album at that. But from what I did hear, I would never sit here and shit on it. Like I said, if I had to give it like a rating out of five, because 5 stars, duh, I would give it a 3. I see what he was doing. There are some great songs on there, but nonetheless, yeah, Chris, I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't know if you like trying to hurry up and get out of the contract. I don't know what it is, but I really want better quality music from you. I don't give a fuck about you putting out a 50 song album. I really don't. And I think that's also the problem too. Like, you dropping 20 plus albums every time, actually 30, really. You keep dropping all these albums with these songs, and it's very clear that real fans are going to listen to it, of course. And I think, yeah, you are really only catering to your fans, which, hey, you have enough fans. So uh, I guess it works, child. I don't fucking know, but nonetheless, make sure that y'all go check out that album. And last but not least, it looks like a Drake song has been leaked, and he is dissing everybody from LeBron, Kendrick, Joe, everybody, bitch. And the whole time, Drake has dropped today. What's crazy is, I personally didn't even tell it. I don't even think I told y'all that Drake was dropping. I think I did. I don't fucking remember. But yeah, they did leak his song last night. Child, um I don't really have much to say on it. I don't have much to say, because at the same time I knew that he was going to address everything that has been going on. I think that him dropping the sexy songs for you or whatever with Party Next Door was kind of like a, let me just put some music out there, because I think also he's trying to get out of his contract, his music contract. And so I think he's just trying to put out as much music as he can, but also I think that this is maybe a time that he actually, tells his side of the story. But yeah, I'm personally excited to listen to this Iceman album. I'm hoping that this gives us old Drake, because I've been missing him, not gonna lie. I don't think that a lot of his albums lately have super replay value. I know that's gonna sound crazy. That's not to say like there aren't hits on there. I'm just saying, I just don't think that people are dropping cohesive albums. That's the problem. Like, y'all have songs on there that's heat, but it just don't work, or it's just not working. But yeah, that is basically all the mess and stuff that I have. Of course, today is Friday, so we have some new drops. Like I said, Drake's full album Iceman has dropped today. Um, I think the song that was leaked is called "Make Them Pay," and I actually think that's on the album. So if you haven't heard the leak, then just go to the album. I'm pretty sure it's on there. But nonetheless, on the album, it sounds like he's addressing everything that's going on. We have Lucky, who dropped an album called "Drugs Are Bad." Giveon dropped his deluxe called "Beloved Act 2." B Nix, I think that's BNYX. I think that's his name. Please don't fight me. He dropped an album called Genesis FM, and it looks like Quando Rondo actually dropped an album called Until I Return. So yeah, y'all know when big artists drop, there really don't be much going on. It really just be about that big artist. I think I even said like Lucky has like made a statement like, "Oh yeah, me and Drake dropping on the same day, this, that, and third." And some people were asking him like, "Why didn't you move the release date?" And he like, "The fuck it don't matter if I move the release date or not, bitch. Fuck, I ain't about to let no other nigga outshine." That's basically the vibe that I got. And I'm not trying to say that in like a in a rude way or nothing like that. It's just one of those like motherfuckers gonna fuck with my music regardless. Or you know what I'm saying? Because I think what people be failing to realize, even if Lucky did release his shit next week, guess what? It don't fucking matter. It really don't matter because at the end of the day, as long as Drake drop, people are going to listen to that. But also, real day one fans are going to listen to Lucky, and people are going to push out Lucky's album because eventually Drake's album might die out, depending on how good it is. If it's the Drake that people are expecting, this album might last the rest of the year. It might. If this album is not the Drake that we are expecting, this album could be over with in about the end of the summer. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. But nonetheless, that is all that I have for you all this week. Of course, before we get out of here, I have to leave you all with an uncut gem. So I have been saying this whole time, where is Skilla Baby? Where is Skilla Baby? I personally have been wanting him to get back to that trapper rapper music, and he dropped a little something that's catering to that style. He just recently dropped a song and a new video called "Get You Some Money." All right, everybody hates their job, whatever the case is, but nonetheless, you still gotta get up and get you some fucking money. All right, especially in this economy, we have to do what we can in order to, get what we want. Unfortunately, and I know that is fucked up, and I'm getting to a point where I'm like, we just need to boycott, bitch. Don't nobody go to work. Don't nobody pay rent. Like they can't kick us all out. But I know some of y'all not gonna stand on that. But nonetheless, again, make sure that y'all go check out Skilla Baby, get you some money. All right. So that is all that I have for you all this week. Thank you to my first and my last time listeners. I really hope you all enjoyed this episode just as much as I enjoyed delivering it to you. All right. Please make sure that you are checking us out every Monday and Friday on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and of course turn on those post notifications because you don't want to miss out. All right. Always remember to be humble, be gracious, and be open. I will see you at the top because the bottom is just a little too crowded. Bye, y'all.